Right. Good morning, all. A warm welcome to the S4HANA Finance demo session, which we'll be conducting on 1809. My name is Ram Verma. I have almost 8 years of SAP experience, and before that, I worked as an accounts executive and all. Now, for the past 3 years, I'm into trainings. I mostly do trainings on SAP controlling, but now I've started training on S4HANA also. I'll be the instructor, not Sai Krishna. So that's one thing we want to make it very clear. I'll be the instructor, not Sai Krishna, for this training part. All right. Now let us discuss what we'll be covering on S4HANA Finance in this training. The course duration would be somewhere about 40 to 45 hours. So that means, we'll be conducting this on a weekends only. So on Saturday, it will be 4 hours and Sunday, it will be 4 hours. So total 8 hours per week. And let's say, you will be having somewhere about 5 to 6 weekends you'll have to spend with us in this training. It will be an online mode only. And if someone wants a training system access, they'll be given, that will be an extra cost. They can get it. And the training server which we have is on 1809 on-premise version. Now coming to the course, we have broadly divided the course into 3 parts, which in the first part will be S4HANA complete overview. We'll be discussing what are the changes at a very broad level at this and what are the different applications and all at this level. And then we'll go into the S4HANA finance and controlling delta changes. That is when you are doing a greenfield approach, when you are doing a implementation right from the scratch, what are the configurations you need to do with regard to S4HANA. The other configurations remain the same, but then with regard to S4HANA, what are the new configurations or the configurations that have changed because of using S4HANA Finance Business Suite? We'll be covering those in detail. And the third part we'll be discussing is a brownfield approach. Let us assume you are already on a ECC system and you are migrating into S4HANA. In that case, what should be your approach and what are the things you have to do? And this part will be a overview only, a theoretical discussion only. A demo cannot be done for a brownfield approach. Wherever it is possible, we'll show you the configuration or the paths where you do the migration, but it will not be a hands-on brownfield migration. It will be a overview only. Now let us deep dive into what we'll be covering in each of these 3 topics. In the S4HANA complete overview, we'll be giving you an introduction of what is S4HANA, what do you mean by HANA as a database, what do you mean by S4HANA as a business suite, and what are the important aspects to it, and how should we leverage this new solution when you go for a client pitch and when you use it in your sales pitch. Now, as part of it, we will also discuss what are the different SAP products and releases and major changes in each of the releases. It is not just sufficient for us to know what are the changes in this version, latest version on which we are going to train, 1809. You might be facing clients who are on different of these versions, starting from 1503 to 1909. You have different clients on different levels. So we have to discuss what are the different changes that have occurred in each of this phase and what are the major changes in each of this phase. Now, as part of S4HANA, there is a user experience that has been improved. We call it a new user experience. And what is this new user experience all about? We'll also be discussing about the Fiori applications that have come in S4HANA. And we'll try to understand what do you mean by S4HANA enterprise management? How is it different? How is it different with the older versions? And what are the different lines of businesses which are getting implications because of S4HANA? Let's say, for example, you're a IS oil industry. Will you be getting affected, and what are the changes? Is the S4HANA business suite compatible to you and all will be discussed in this part. Now we'll also discuss about what embedded analytics means and what it has an implication for you as a functional consultant, and what are the things we need to understand about embedded analytics in your projects. Now we'll also have an introduction to S4HANA analytics. we'll understand what is the architecture of this analytics that is to be used in S4HANA, what are the changes from our regular ECC system, and what are the new functionalities with regard to analytics that are given in S4. And then we'll also discuss about the user experience, how we can leverage S4HANA SAP Fiori for addressing the user experience issues which were plaguing the ECC users until now in the old graphical user interface, the UI. What are the problems the users were facing, and how SAP S4HANA SAP Fiori is going to help us. What is the advantage of using SAP Fiori? We will also discuss about the different migration scenarios that are to be adopted. Like say, for example, you are migrating from a ECC system to S4HANA system. Then we'll try to understand what are the different approaches that are available to you and how we can use each of them in a different case. It is not a straightforward solution that you'll use a single set of guideline to transform from your ECC system to your S4HANA system. You'll have to understand what are the different approaches and which option should be selected based on the situation you are in. Once you go to S4HANA, what are the adaptations you have to do after going to S4HANA is to be discussed. So this in the complete overview, we'll be discussing this. Apart from it, we'll also discuss about the different deployment options which are there. On-premise, what will be the advantage of having an on-premise option? What do you mean by an on-premise option? What do you mean by a public cloud? Within cloud, you have two kind of offerings. What is public cloud? What is private cloud? If you go for a public cloud, what will be the advantage? And what will be the disadvantage if you go for a public cloud? And same way, if you go for a private cloud, how will it have a bearing on your functionality and your changes that you would like to do your system? And we'll also discuss about the hybrid option which is there. When we go for the cloud option, can we have a hybrid approach? That means, can you have some parts in the cloud, some parts in your on-premise? And all this will be discussed in your overview. Apart from this, in the overview part, we will discuss what are the advanced functionalities in finance and logistics in 1809. We'll also discuss about the advanced functionalities in finance and logistics 1610 and advanced functionalities in your finance and logistics in 1709 and 1809. The reason why we have broken down into three parts is there are some significant changes have come within each of this version. Now, it is not just sufficient you just learn about the new functionalities. We'll also understand at which place these functionalities were introduced. And as I've said earlier, you will have different clients having different versions. So it is very, very important that you understand what are the different functionalities that have been given. And S4HANA is not a single product that has come in a single go. It has been continuously being evolved. That means there are some changes that have occurred in 1503, and when we went to 1610, there are a few more changes that have come, and again 1709 you have some more changes, 1809 some more changes, and so on with 1909 also. So what are the major milestones or the major functionalities that have changed in each of the version? We'll have to understand. And apart from it, there are concepts called extension ledger, parallel ledger functionalities, and which were given. And again, these also started with terms like appendix ledger and all. They also have evolved. Now we will be discussing this extension ledger, parallel ledger in depth in the 1709 or 1809 versions. And there are new currency functionalities. In ECC, if you all remember, we have the local currency as your company code currency, and you could have two additional currencies if in case you needed additional currencies. In addition to your local currency, you could have two additional currencies. When it comes to S4HANA, we'll have to understand what are the different currency options that are available. Now, how many currencies were there? Now, again, this currency concept has got evolved. Like in 1610, there was one set. Before that, there's another set. So this, again, we'll have to understand what are the different options which we had in all of these versions. And the one area that has taken a huge hit in your finance is your asset accounting. When it comes to asset accounting, we'll have to understand what do you mean by classic asset accounting and what do you mean by new asset accounting. We'll also have to understand, can new asset accounting be implemented in your ECC or is it part of the solution in S4HANA only? Now, when we go for asset accounting from classic to new asset accounting, we'll have to understand how it was as is in your ECC, and now what is the situation in your S4HANA? What are the changes that have taken place? Now, not changes, not just from a functional perspective, we'll also have to understand at an architecture level, what are the tables that were there? What are the tables that are now? And what happens when you have a change in this table structure? What are the underlying tables? What are the functionalities that have got supported? What are the functionalities that have got obsolete? In case of something which has got obsolete, we'll have to understand what is the new functionality that has been given in replacement to that functionality, and we have to understand as to why that was done. And the other thing that has got a huge impact, that will be from your controlling perspective, your COPA has taken a huge change. Now, the traditional emphasis was on costing based COPA. Now it has been shifted to account based COPA. Now we'll have to understand, and most of us have not worked on account based COPA, let alone COPA. So we'll have to understand how we will have to take care of account based COPA. If at all we choose account based COPA, what are the functionalities which are there in S4HANA and what are the functionalities that have changed in S4HANA? And we'll have to see how this account based COPA is integrated with your universal journal and how SAP is going to leverage this integration for reporting and other usages. And apart from account based COPA, within account based COPA you have a new functionality called cost of goods sold split, wherein you can get a breakup of your cost of goods sold. It was not possible earlier. Now SAP has given it as part of this standard solution. You can use that standard solution to get a breakup of cost of goods sold in your account based COPA, and this data will be visible in your FI also. It is not limited only to your account based COPA, it will be applicable in your FI also. And you have a variance split functionality which is there, and this also has been changed in S4HANA. Earlier it was a consolidated variance number. Now you can get a variance split at a category level. Each of the different categories which are there, we'll have almost 8 categories, right? Remaining variance, remaining input variance, remaining price variance, quantity variance, mixed price variance, so on and so forth. All this, how do you get a breakup of this in your FI and in your account based COPA? Now, there is some amount of implication with regard to material ledger. Now we have to understand that in S4HANA, in the latest versions, SAP material ledger is mandatory. Now we have to understand why SAP has made material ledger mandatory. For having material ledger as a mandatory, what is the configuration that needs to be done? And apart from it, we'll have to deep dive into understanding how inventory valuation is done in your S4HANA. Because when SAP has made material ledger mandatory, it would have had a thought process behind making it mandatory. Now, why is it made mandatory and what are going to be the implications of it being mandatory is something we have to understand. Now then, when we discuss this, we'll also have to understand what are the different valuation approaches. Can I still use standard price? Should I use moving average price? Or what should I do about it if I'm migrating from your normal system to your S4HANA system? Now, what should I do with my price indicators in my material master? So all this will be discussed in your material ledger functionalities. Now, you will have a situation wherein your client is on ECC and they are on classic general ledger. They are not using SAP New GL or SAP General Ledger Accounting. In that case, if they migrate to S4HANA, will they ever be able to use the parallel ledger functionality? And should they implement this parallel ledger functionality during the migration or after the migration? If I do after the migration, how am I going to implement this subsequent implementation of parallel ledger? The same way, your client may be on SAP General Ledger or SAP New GL Accounting or Classic General Ledger. If he moves on to S4HANA, can he subsequently implement document splitting? If at all document splitting was not active, can he subsequently implement document splitting? So these are the topics we are going to cover here. Apart from it, we'll look at the new reports which are given in S4HANA, and we will also discuss about the different methodologies of migration and the system conversion and the greenfield implementation approaches, and what are the key concepts that we need to be aware during this processes. Now, when we discuss about Fiori, we also have to have a discussion on what are roles and responsibilities and what kind of applications in your Fiori will be given to each user. So we'll have to understand something about roles and responsibilities in your Fiori. Apart from it, we'll have to understand what do you mean by a Fiori catalog, what do you mean by a Fiori group, what do you mean by a Fiori tile, and how do you design your Fiori launchpad. These all topics will be covered in S4HANA complete overview. This is the first part. Coming to the second part, we'll start each of the topic. I mean, right from the beginning, we'll start off with your your general ledger, and all the way till your COPA. What we'll do is we'll take up each component. We'll discuss what is the significance and the impact of S4HANA on that particular component, and what are the configuration changes, what are the business processes that are getting impacted, if at all there are some business processes that are getting impacted, what should you do about it, and what are the new options that are to be used for those things which are getting impacted. Now, in addition to it, in all the topics, we'll have to look into reporting, because the emphasis from your traditional graphic user interface, that is your GUI reporting, has been significantly shifted to your Fiori reporting. Now, we have to, whether we like it or not, we'll have to get ourselves acquainted with the new Fiori applications. So the entire course, in wherever it is possible, we'll be taking you through the Fiori application only. And in some cases where there are no Fiori apps, or where we have to visit the regular nut and bolt, your GUI interface, we'll be going. So we'll be doing one step in your GUI and the same step in your Fiori. So we'll be doing the entire master data setup, the transaction posting, everything in Fiori. And some places wherever it is required, we'll do it in GUI. The emphasis throughout the course will be on Fiori usage only, because that is the place where the significant change has taken place. Now, we cannot simply implement S4HANA and say ask the client to use that particular application using a GUI, because one of the fundamental advantage is the user experience and what are the different reporting capabilities that are given as part of your S4HANA. Without Fiori, we will not be able to sell the application or the idea to your client. And in fact, even if they buy into such kind of idea where Fiori is absent, the leverage which they get in the ROI which the client gets from such kind of implementation will be negligible. So there will be hundreds and hundreds of apps, but then what are the significant apps? And we will discuss about what are the apps, what are the different kind of apps which are there, how do you identify, what are the changes, how do you use about it, and all we'll be discussing. We'll be discussing the master data creation and the transaction creation from both Fiori as well as the GUI. And we will also discuss the analytical part in your Fiori, in your general ledger accounting. And as I've told you, it will be on 1809 on-premise version only. Now, when we come to accounts payable and accounts receivable, the same way we'll be discussing on the component effect that has taken place because of S4HANA in your accounts payable and your accounts receivable. What are the new configurations that have come in, or the configurations that have changed, and what are the business processes that are getting impacted, and what are the new reporting functionalities which are given in S4HANA. Apart from it, in your accounts payable and accounts receivable, the key change which we have to discuss is the business partner. And I mean, you might be hearing about CWA integration, also customer vendor integration. Now, BP and CWA integration are the key changes. So we'll have to understand if at all you are going for a new implementation or a migration. So how do you configure BP? What are the delta changes that you have to do for having BP in place? And how do you create a BP master from your GUI as well as Fiori? And the business process execution, which we'll have to see. I mean, since BP has come, what are the processes? We'll have to go from a end-to-end procure to pay cycle as well as an order to pay cycle. And we'll have to see wherever there's an impact or not. And we'll have to understand what are the different type of analytics which are given in your accounts payable and accounts receivable. Now, when it comes to cash and bank accounting, I mean, as you have heard, there will be an impact on your house banks. Now, house banks, again, as I've told, right from 1503, it is continuously evolving. First, they said, no, it is not possible. You cannot create house bank without cash and liquidity management. And then they said, okay, if you want to have cash and without cash and liquidity management, you have to implement something called bank account management light. And then they said the creation of your house bank should be done from a Fiori application only. Now they have said NetWeaver also can be used to create a bank house master, house bank master. So we'll have to understand what is cash and liquidity management on an overview basis. We'll have to understand what are the configuration steps you need to do for the house bank in S4HANA, not the regular thing, but in S4HANA, what are the additional changes that have come in. And once you are done with it, we'll have to understand how to create a bank master and what are the different background tables that are going to get affected. And once you're done with it, we'll have to start posting some transactions to understand how your house bank setup is working. Then we'll go into asset accounting. In asset accounting, as we've discussed, we'll go through the explanation of what has changed between ECC and S4HANA, or in other terms, classic asset accounting and new asset accounting. What are the different changes that have come in? What are the delta configurations that needs to be done for your new asset accounting? And the business processes that are going to get implicated because of S4HANA. And what are the additional reporting functionalities that are given in your S4HANA? We'll also have to understand how do we create asset master using your GUI as well as Fiori. And we will also understand what are the different table changes that have taken place in asset accounting. As I have mentioned earlier, one of the key areas where you have got a huge implication because of S4HANA on a functionality level, because it is not a enhanced functionality, it is a change functionality also. So we'll have to understand what are this change functionality, how things were before S4HANA, what is the significance of delta depreciation area and all in your ECC system. Now in S4HANA, do we need a delta depreciation area or we don't need a delta depreciation area? If at all we don't need a delta depreciation area, what are the things which we have to do and what are the changes which we have to notice is something we'll be understanding on your asset accounting front. And what are the changes that have taken place with regard to your depreciation run and all, we'll be understanding that. And then as a coming to material ledger, we'll have to understand why material ledger is made mandatory. What are the configurations I have to do to ensure that material ledger is up and active, and what are the business processes that are getting implicated because of this, and what are the reporting options I have on material ledger. And coming to your COPA, and in controlling, one of the key areas which have got changed because of S4HANA is profitability analysis. In FI, it is your asset accounting and your ledger setup, which has got highly affected. When you have implications in your accounts payable and accounts receivable with regard to business partner, and you also have an implication on your house bank also. But then if you look at it, from a key change perspective, it is your ledger setup, your parallel accounting setup, and your asset accounting that have got a huge change in your FI, apart from your Fiori reporting. Coming to your CO, the one area that has got taken a huge hit or a change during this transition from your ECC to S4HANA is the change that has taken place in your profitability analysis. Now we'll have to understand what are the different functionalities COPA is there. COPA contains in S4HANA. What is the difference between your account-based COPA and costing-based COPA with regard to S4HANA? And what are the advantages of using account-based COPA in S4HANA? How do you configure account-based COPA? And how do you activate account-based COPA at a operating concern level? And what do you mean by attributed profitability analysis? This is a new concept that is introduced by SAP in S4HANA. Now there's something called attributed profitability analysis. And what is this attributable analysis? What is the significance of it and how it can be used to leverage your reporting capabilities is to be understood. And then we have to understand what are the table structure changes that have taken place due to account-based COPA being taking the front seat. And we have to understand what is the configuration and the changes that has to be done for cost of goods sold split and price variance split. That is your variance category split level if you want to get a breakup of it in your account-based COPA, which was not there earlier. So what are the configurations that we have to do? Now, since we are moving on to account-based COPA, we'll have to understand how do you set up a report painter report for account-based COPA. Now, this is still your GUI only, but then this is very much essential for us to understand, because when you are designing a new report and you are not having the proper embedded analytics or other business applications to support your reporting requirement, you'll still be left out to do the reporting in your GUI. If you are doing GUI reporting, then how do you set up a report for account-based COPA is something which we have to understand. We'll also understand what are the different applications that are given for Fiori, COPA reporting in Fiori. And apart from it, there are two topics I think which we have not included here. We'll also have to understand how your statistical conditions will flow into your account-based COPA. Earlier, statistical conditions or data flow was possible only in your costing-based COPA and not in your account-based COPA. And in 1809, SAP has ensured that using a concept called prediction ledger, it has moved your statistical value flow from your account, sales and distribution module to your account-based COPA also. And there's a new functionality wherein you can have a, what do you call, using the predictive ledger only, you can have a transfer of your sales order also to account-based COPA. Now, if you remember, you will not have an accounting entry at the time your sales order, but then if you want to have that functionality, which is there, which is there out of box in your costing-based COPA, but if you want the same functionality to be available in your account-based COPA also, what should you do and what are the configuration aspects which you have to take care for moving this, both statistical condition values as well as your sales order value flow to your COPA in account-based COPA. See, these are there in your costing-based COPA right from the beginning. But if you want to have these two in your account-based COPA also, what should you do and what are the configuration aspects that you have to take care of it? So these are the things which we'll be covering in the part 2. As I've told you, broken into 2 parts and 3 parts. The first part will be the overview, different options, different changes, everything that will be covered in your part 1. The part 2, each and individual sub-component level, we'll deep dive into each of the aspect. We'll try to understand what are the changes, the delta configuration that needs to be done and the business process that are getting changed or impacted, and what are the new reporting functionalities. And once we are done with your COPA reporting also, then we'll have to go to the part 3, wherein we'll be discussing about the migration options. Now, if you're on ECC and you're planning to move to your S4HANA, we'll have to discuss about the different migration options that are there and what are the different phases in your migration option. And now what do you have to do if you're having a classic GL? I mean, if you're a new GL and then you're migrating, that is one case. But then if you're on a classic GL and you're willing to move to your S4HANA, then what should you do about it and what are the important aspects you will have to consider. Now coming to this brownfield migration, brownfield implementation or migration, it will be a overview only. It will not be a hands-on. The remaining all parts, I'll be showing you where the configuration has changed, what is the configuration has changed. We'll be deep diving, we'll be testing, everything we'll be doing hands-on. Whereas when it comes to migration, our hands are tied. We cannot have a system setup where we can show you the actual migration. So we'll have to have a theoretical overview only with regard to brownfield implementation or migration. Whatever name you use, it will be a theoretical overview only. I will not promise you stars and I will not ditch you in the end. So this is how it is and this is what it is going to be. Now coming to who is this course suitable for? It is suitable for only experienced people, no freshers, no people who are not at all working on S4HANA. So if there are any participants who are not having a SAP job or who are very in the nascent stages of their SAP career, we request you not to sign up for this course because it is not suitable for you. We'll factor in that you have a SAP experience and you are aware of all the concepts which we are discussing, so that it will be easy for us to move on from there, because it's a Delta course, Delta changes course. We cannot go into the basic configuration, explain you what is a ledger, what do you mean by document splitting and all. So if that is what you are expecting out of this course, please don't sign up, because it is a Delta changes course only and it is suitable for only experienced professionals. Now, if at all you want to sign up for this course, you can mail me your details or you can WhatsApp me on this number. So I'll be available today and tomorrow. So I'll be reverting back. So just think through it. I will be sharing you the presentation after the class. I think we have all the mail IDs with us. After the class will be, after this, shortly we'll be sending you. So go through it. If you're experienced and you are aware of the topics which we are going to discuss, you have a conceptual understanding at least. I know some people would have worked on FI, but not on CO1. Some people might not have hands-on experience on accounting. So I request you to go through the topics which we are going to cover. Now, if you want some additional topics or you want to have some doubts, you can ask me now. Or if you want, you can drop a mail also. We'll see and we'll get back to you on it. Now, I'll just unmute you. If you have any doubts or anything related to this, just let me know. Just unmute you all. Just one by one. So, when you have any doubts related to this.
Yes, Varma Ramasubba Reddy here. Good morning.
Good morning, Ramasubba Reddy.
What is the duration of this course?
It will be somewhere about 5 weekends. Like, let's say, for example, we factor in 4 hours on each day of the weekend, Saturday 4 hours and Sunday 4 hours. So okay. 8 hours per weekend. It will be 5 to 6 weekends. 5 weekends is the plan. But then if it spills, it spills. We cannot hurry up because we have a fixed time schedule. We'll try to maintain the schedule, but then based on the level of questions, the level of interaction we have in the class, based on it, we'll have to see how many hours it is going to be there. But then roughly on a ballpark figure, it will be 40 to 45 hours or 5 weekends.
Yeah, understood. Okay, fine. Thank you.
Right?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, any further doubts, any further questions? Anyone?
Yeah, that would be fine. Thank you.
All right.
So tomorrow also we have, right?
No. Tomorrow also I'll be explaining the same thing. See, there are a few things which we want people to understand. The first thing
actually,
is,
today I have joined late.
No issues. It will be the same thing. The only thing what we are going to tell in this, see, the very idea of this demo is, the first thing is, there is a small confusion regarding who is going to teach. So earlier Sai was teaching. I mean, so he was my partner. So he was teaching the classes online, but because of the, I mean, tight work schedule and all, so this batch I'll be taking up. So that is one thing which we want to make clear. And we also want to make clear that this course is only for experienced professionals and a Delta configuration and S4HANA changes that we are going to bring about. So these are the two things which we are going to tell people. So that is the reason we are having a demo. In normal cases, I would have been sending you the demo videos and all which are flooded in YouTube. So you would have been asked to go through them, but then the only thing is the trainer change, and then that we are going to discuss that this is going to be a Delta change, so not suitable for entry level and freshers. So those things, because of this only. So it will be the same thing, Ram Super Reddy. You need not worry about it. So
Yeah.
just there. All right.
Yeah.
Because we
Yeah. All
have
right.
people in different time zones, and now some people in US have complained that it is a Thanksgiving holiday for them and they want to have a break and all. So that's the reason we have scheduled the same thing for tomorrow also. So it will
Oh,
be the
yeah.
same thing.
Okay. So fees and all, now can we discuss now or?
I mean, you just call me, just go through the contents of it. I mean, first go through the contents of it once we send
Yeah.
this. Once you
Yeah.
go through the contents, try to understand. I mean, if you have any queries or you want something to be included or something
Yeah.
you want to discuss, understand this, then we can discuss about the fees. Let us not
Where can
jump
I
into.
find this contents?
No, we'll be sending to your
We
mails.
will share the
Okay.
YouTube video, Ram Subramanian. We will share this same video. So whoever registered here, so we will share the same thing.
Okay, Sai. Okay,
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
Thank you,
yeah.
Sai.
So whoever registered for tomorrow, we once this is done, we will share this video, so you can go through it. If you like, you can come back to Varma. So whoever interested to join, then otherwise leave it.
Yeah, sure, definitely.
Any questions from anybody? Any concerns, questions?
Hi, Shai. This is
Yeah.
Chandra. Hello.
Yeah, we are able to hear you.
After the session, these videos will be shared with us, or any links we're going to share with us?
Yeah, the videos will be shared once the class is done. So videos will be shared. That is, the view access is available.
You meant to say link or?
Yeah, the view access will be available. We will send the link, so you can click that and you can watch the videos anytime.
Okay.
Once you miss the session, also you can see later.
Okay.
But recommendable is if you attend the live session, that will be very good. So means whenever you not attended, so you cannot ask any question. So if you are attending the live session every week, so you can have, if you have something is come to your mind, also immediately you can get it clarified. So that advantage will be there.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, then. I mean, if there are no further questions, we'll end the session for the day. And you can drop a mail or you can contact us on WhatsApp. We'll see. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Fine.
sure.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you,
a lot.
Sai. Thank you, Surya.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good day. Bye.